Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on Pocono Raceway here as we continue to close in on the final handful of races until the playoffs. Now of course, Race 24, that regular season finale, as we have the next level racing colors on our number 8 Junior Motorsports Cadillac this weekend, as we're looking for just a, really straightforward weekend of trying to make sure we can beat two drivers specifically, Kyle Larson as well as Connor Zilisch, but more so the number 5 of Kyle Larson, who has been starting to show that he might be, although not leading the championship, very well might be the championship favorite here this season as he continues to find some steam in this summer stretch, very similar to what we saw back in season 3 or season 4, whatever it was, when he went on an absolute tear and then of course fell off in the playoffs. And momentum is a very real thing in the real world NASCAR with the playoff format, and it's a very real thing in NASCAR Heat 5 career mode as well. More often than not, we see the regular season dominant drivers that not perform in the playoffs, and we see someone that didn't really perform great in the regular season go on to just go on a tear in the playoffs and find themselves, of course, fighting for the championship, sometimes winning the championship. The greatest example is, of course, season 4 with Christopher Bell. Didn't win a race in the regular season, wins, 3 or 4 races in the playoffs, including the championship. It was unbelievable what he was capable of doing there, and Kyle Larson, the same examples of where he's dominated regular seasons and then you get into the playoffs and he completely fumbles, season 4 being the best example of that. So Christopher Bell last season, I mean, he dominated the regular season and then we get to the playoffs and he didn't quite have the same of course speed, and then he made the final 4 based off of the regular season playoff points that he had accumulated, and then he just had nothing in the final 4. So momentum is a very real thing, and we try to carry some momentum into Pocono, and it's not quite happening. A 53.989 put us in P11, which I was pretty happy about that, but overall still would like to do a little bit better here. As you can see on pole, it's William Byron, still winless this season. Kyle Larson joins him on the front row. Gibbs, Blaney, Heim, the top 5, my teammate of Hocevar and Zilisch, they're both in the top 10, as we have no trucks or Amazon Prime action this weekend, meaning we get to dive straight into the Cup Series action here on Sunday. Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed, the 2 part-time drivers in the field this weekend. Race 19. Following today, we will have just 5 races left in the regular season, and next episode it will be Gateway, kicking off that final 5-race stretch. So before we complete this race, 6 races remain in the regular season, and William Byron still looking for that first win, the highest driver in the points without a win. Todd Gilliland failed technical inspection. He'll go to the back alongside the Andretti Global 26 Gamebridge Honda Civic of Nick Sanchez as they line up the back of the grid. As P11 for this next level racing Cadillac for Junior Motorsports, we get ready to take the green flag here behind the number 98 of Chase Briscoe. The green flag is out. We're underway from the tricky triangle here from Pocono as we head down the long stretch, the longest straightaway here in the Cup Series, into turn number 1. Chase Elliott on my outside just picked up that win last episode in that classic finish between himself and I at Watkins Glen. He puts himself into the playoffs finally, and he no longer has to stress after having, of course, a position of being out of the playoffs for the majority of the season. But that 9 team has really cleaned things up over the last 3-4 races, and it's showing because now they're winning races and just they are exactly where they need to be, of course, for what we now know as Chase Elliott's final season in the Hendrick Motorsports number 9 before he moves over to Chase Elliott Motorsports in the, Chase Elliott Motorsports number 9 next season. Still no word yet on who is going to replace Chase Elliott, although the expectation is going to be Corey Day, and Corey Day has made a good name for himself already with Hendrick Motorsports, winning while replacing the injured Kyle Larson at one point last season, and as well with the new team of Jordan Anderson Racing, a team that doesn't have a lot of resources. They have put some good efforts together with Corey Day behind the wheel now, as we're just in front of my teammate of Connor Zilisch on the inside of the one of Tyler Reddick here. And as you can see, as we exit turn 1, we got Jesse Love looking pretty fast. He's kind of faded in recent rounds, so he's showing some good speed here as we're right up to the back of 5th place of William Byron from pole to 5th. In just a lap. That 24 clearly lacking some speed as we exit the tunnel turn to the inside of this Exalta 24 down into turn number 3, and I can immediately tell behind me there's 2 cars that are quicker than me, the 81 and the 88, Love and then my teammate of Connor Zilish. They are going to be difficult to beat, and as we exit turn 3, here it comes, the 81 now down this long front straightaway. Jesse Love and that C4 Smart Energy Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing moves through. Here comes as well now, just moments later, Connor Zilish and as well the 19 of Alex Bowman caught me off guard, and actually a bit of contact between himself and I. That one, yeah, that caught me off guard. I knew the 88 was going to get me, and then the 19 just kind of caught me off guard, and I was already like coming down the track. We are able to recover, however, into this 8th position. We have a comfortable gap on P9, and we've already hit lap 5 halfway through this first and opening stage. We can make it to the end of stage 1 on fuel without any issues. We can go well over 10 laps on fuel. I think the fuel run to full tank is going to get us about 14 laps, as here comes behind me Bubba Wallace, and that Andretti Global 28 hasn't quite been the season he's been looking for, and really probably not the entire season Andretti's been looking for just in general. I think we all expected better, as the caution's going to fly. That's going to end stage 1 a few laps early. Corey Himes dropped to P6, Zilish still P11. You got Wallace and Reddick in the top 10. As we look up towards the front, Kyle Larson picks up a stage win. I believe that's his 8th stage win of the season. Ryan Blaney P2, Gibbs there in 3rd. So we're going to pit, and we're going to make some changes. We're actually going to tighten up this car, because right there before that caution came out, I noticed the car was starting to kind of free up a little bit, and I knew that at a track like Pocono, that's going to hurt us quite a bit. Corey Day's up to 13th, by the way, as it was the 31 of Brent Cruz, go figure, with a tire down. We gain a spot in the pits, overtaking my teammate of Connor Zilish. Great pit stops all season long, just like last season from this 8 pit crew. We're back underway here. Stage 2 kicks off here from Pocono. 23 laps, a complete different scenario, over double the length than stage number 1, of course, which was only 9 laps, and I mean, here we are with 23 in second stage, and we didn't even run the entirety of stage 1, so that gives us another extra lap or 2 here into stage 2, as we're to the inside of the number 11 of Corey Heim down this first straightaway, the long pond straightaway that is now, is Love side by side with his Joe Gibbs teammate of Alex Bowman, and that number 18 Bowman picking up his first win of the season recently there in Michigan, looking strong today, and that number 18 Ally Financial Toyota Camrys were to the inside. And once again, we are seeing over the last few races a lot of Toyota presence, and it's been the same cars for the most part. You got Blaney, Gibbs, Bell has been up here, Bowman of course as of late, but I mean Corey Heim as well. Jesse Love's, like I said, kind of been one of the drivers that's faded, but clearly today he stepped up. But you have to wonder if there's 2 potential ways this goes. They're going to carry this into the playoffs and be really strong, and that's going to be a problem for everybody, or are they peaking at the worst possible time, in the tail end of the regular season, and then we go into the playoffs and they're going to fall off. You do have to wonder if that's something. What's coincidental about all of this is these Toyota guys are also filling up the entire bubble of the playoffs. Chastain, Gibbs, Blaney, Heim, all those guys are in the conversation for the bubble to make it into the playoffs, so that makes things even more interesting that they have suddenly turned things up here in the tail end of this regular season. Ross Chastain being the lowest of those bubble drivers, and right now not looking like he's going to make the playoffs, which would be a huge surprise. Now Tyler Reddick as well, very much in the conversation, but that's totally different. That's Trackhouse and that's Honda, as we have now gotten some pressure to the back and now to the inside of the Advanced Auto Parts 23 of Ryan Blaney here as we head down the long pond towards tunnel turn, and now into the tunnel turn we go. We're going to go right down to the grass, but Blaney's able to get through there quite a bit better, and I can't quite get the exit I was hoping for, making a little bit of contact there. Zilish just behind. I know Zilish is better than me, and he honestly might have a car capable of winning this race. He's got that 1 win on the season, 2 career wins to his name. Could today be number 3 as he looks pretty competitive in that Red Bull 88. Blaney clears me. Zilish jumps up to the top, and he's going to follow that 23 down the front straightaway, and Zilish will take P6 away as we drop down into P7. Moments later, lap 5, tail end of it, Zilish through on Blaney, and of course now to the lead as well. By the way, the 18 of Alex Bowman is now in control of this race as we cross the stripe with 18 still laps remaining in this second stage. And as you can see, as we come to lap 7, Jesse Love as well, he's moved up to second as Larson's dropped to third. And looking behind, we've got Corey Heim there in P8, Bubba Wallace in the 9th position. So both of those drivers trying to run me down, but fortunately they kind of closed in on me, but then I actually would open back up the gap here as we came to lap 8, so we were pretty comfortably ahead of them. And now we're bringing the fight to the 23 of Ryan Blaney here into turn number 3, clear of that 23, back up into the top 6. Here we go. Zilish is running down the top 4 drivers at this point now as he runs in that 5th spot. Do we have the speed to run him down? Probably not. A lap later though, heading down this long straightaway, we've opened up the gap a little bit more to the 23 of Ryan Blaney, so we've got decent speed here, and the car overall feels a lot better at this point in the stage, about 8-9 laps in, well now lap 10, but it feels better than what it did at the same spot in stage 1, around lap 8 or so, it felt like. So here comes Blaney though, back up my inside, so this is still not over. Ryan Blaney's able to get there on my inside as we head down Long Pond. 4 laps of fuel, so yeah, 14 laps is what this car is capable of going when it's full of fuel here, and we do have an opportunity. We are in the pit window. If we pit right now, we can make it to the end. We could maybe look at pitting this lap or in the next lap, because we're not going to lose a lap by pitting, and that could allow us to maybe just get a little bit closer to the cars in front. We're not close enough to be able to pass them as we repass the 23. Ryan Priest into turn 3, tire down, caution out, and of course it's the 29 of Priest now. When will Zane Smith have his issues, as everyone's going to pit for tires and fuel, and that potential strategy that I was just talking about is completely out the window as we'll get ready for a restart here about midway through the second middle stage of this race. Alex Bowman still leads. Kyle Larson loses a spot to Ty Gibbs. That makes it Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3. Christopher Bell not seen anywhere as the green flag is back out. It'll be 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Connor Zilish and myself lead the way for Junior Motorsports there in 5th and 6th. Carson Hosevar not quite having the day he's been wanting. Once again, he kind of struggles here, it seems like, on the larger tracks this season. So I think if we can get the Ford car to turn things around on these 1.5 miles and these 2 mile or 2.5 mile tracks, I think that Hosevar is going to be a serious threat for a championship this season. He almost surprised everybody last season and almost made it all the way to the Final Four and shocked everyone there, as we are now side by side with the 28 of Wallace. Contact with him, contact with the wall, and up the racetrack and down to the top 10. Through goes Rennick and Day and Heim. Here comes Chris Busher. To my inside, we drop to P12, immediately fighting back to the inside of the Fastenal Ford Mustang for RFK as they still seek their first win of the season now, and they just really, I think, are focused on getting a driver into the playoffs, and their guy to do that is this guy, Chris Busher. Right now he is comfortably in on points, and he's just trying to hope that we don't get too many different winners, but this is turning into a completely different situation from last season. After today, we are going to have, like I said already, 5 races left in the regular season, and we've got like 4 or 5 spots available on points, where, you know, last season we had like 16, 17 winners at the end of the regular season. We're not going to have that unless something absolutely insane happens over the course of the next 5 races as we clear Corey Day. How about Corey Day and Jordan Anderson Racing up here in P11? Great run for a rookie driver with a rookie team here now, as we would immediately bring the fight to Tyler Reddick here moments later. We pass the Monster Energy number 1 Honda Civic there for Trackhouse Racing as he continues to exceed expectations. We saw Reddick last episode though look more, or not last episode, sorry, I believe it was Michigan, where he kind of looked more like a Trackhouse driver, unfortunately, of just struggling. But Reddick's gonna force my hand here a little bit. He kind of shows the nose into turn 1, and I had to drive in pretty deep to cover him off, but that unfortunately means that I run wide, and that opens the door for him to pass me back, and then I'm gonna pass him back here down the second short straightaway out of the tunnel turn. The tunnel turn is such a strong strong corner for me, and again, he's showing the nose, so I'm having to block him down the front straightaway. But this means into turn 1, if I break up my normal spot, he's just going to dive up the inside, so I'm having to overdrive the entrance, and it's a lose-lose. I overdrive and run up the racetrack, allowing him to go up the inside, or if I break up my normal spot, he's again going to dive it up the inside. So it almost felt like I was helpless, and we fight back again through the tunnel turn, coming up on the final 5 laps of this second stage, and Alex Bowman continues to lead the way in that number 18. We clear the number 1 again, and fortunately for me, this time, Reddick actually doesn't force anything. He kind of concedes position, and he's just going to run up here against the outside wall. So this time into turn 1, we actually don't have to worry about him. I can hit my corner, I can hit my braking spot the way I like to, and immediately we open up a bit of a gap to that Monster Energy number 1, and we would drive away from Reddick here over the next lap. So lap 24 laps to go here in stage 2. Bubba Wallace up there in P8. We've recovered well from that contact with Wallace. Around goes Heim into the outside wall, crashes back into us, and the caution is out. Stage 2 is over, and damage is done to the next level racing number 8, and even more damage done to the number 11 for 2311 Heim. 2 races in a row he's going to crash out of. That is not going to be beneficial in the playoff situation for him, as Bowman will take the stage, will pit, but we've got 4 seconds of repairs that we have to make, and it drops us 5 positions to 13th spot as we'll get ready to go green. Not what we wanted to have happen, obviously, as stage 3 kicks off, and now Connor Zilish is up there with the number 18 of Alex Bowman. What can he do as we get a bit of a slow restart? It looks like we're not the only one. Kind of a weird restart just in general here as we head down into turn number 1. Carson Hosevar is right here. Logano to my outside as well. As you can see, a bit of a gap between some cars. Just overall, yet a very unorganized restart as we wash up the track there, leaning on Sanchez. We're going to go 3 wide between Sanchez and now Chris Buescher, who's to my inside in that Fastenal number 17. As we head down into the tunnel turn, somebody has to lift. It's going to be me. I'm going to lift because I knew that being in the middle there, it was going to be a disaster if I decided to keep my nose there. Now we're going to get to the back of the 17, give him a push forward here. I felt like just following him was a smarter move than forcing it 3 wide at that point. But now into turn 3, we're going to try and do something here. And can we carry this momentum? Yes, we can. Clear of the 17, side by side, trying to force the 32 to back out. And Day, the rookie, says, I am not backing out. Contact there between himself and I. But we nonetheless get clear by Corey Day saying, hey, I got a nose there. Most guys usually lift. He did not. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to anything as we would move up to 9th position behind the number 6 Fastenal Ford of Christian Eckes, having a nice run here today for RFK, as Connor Zilish is out in front here leading this race. He got the lead at the start of stage 3 and now he is in control, and we knew he was strong. We know Alex Bowman, I think, has the strongest car overall, so I believe that Zilish is still going to have his work cut out for him. I say that, but Alex Bowman is not passing Connor Zilish for the lead, but he is at least sticking with him as we do clear the number 6 of Eckes. That puts us now into the 8th position as we head down this front straightaway, and in a decent spot here as well. The caution is going to fly once again. Bowman's down to actually P3. Jesse Love's in P2. Reason for caution, Parker Renslav going around in turn 3 due to a tire issue. Nobody pits, so caution comes out. We get right back into the action and get ready to go green here now as we're going to line up P8, row 4, outside behind the 23 of Ryan Bellini. Bubba Wallace on my inside there, the Iowa winner from the penultimate round of last season, as he's still trying to get that team into the playoffs. And if Bubba Wallace wants to be a playoff driver, he has to win at this point now as we're alongside Eckes into turn number 1. Connor Zilish again in control. Love in second, but now he's under pressure from the Joe Gibbs teammate of his in the 18 of Alex Bowman. Now as we have just below 20 laps to go. The reason nobody pitted is because we were not in the field window, and of course we have enough fuel to get us to the field window, so yeah, it just didn't make much sense to pit. I mean, surprised that nobody in the back of the field elected to come into the pits, because that would be a bit more of a lucrative option, but yeah, just didn't see anybody do it. So that's going to make things really straightforward, and on the right side, we're not going to have to worry about weird strategy now, as I really lean on Ryan Bellini up there on the exit of turn number 3. Unfortunately, the 6 can't pounce on it. We use the draft from Bubba Wallace, who continues to move his way forward, now up into P6 in that Andretti Global car. Does Bubba Wallace have a car capable of winning this race? It might be something that we have to watch out for as we clear the 23 Advanced Auto Parts Camry, but way up the racetrack on the exit of turn 1. Fortunately clear of Blaney, but not quite clear of the 6 until the tunnel turn. We're able to get down in front of his nose. That was crucial right there, as we were just able to get enough of a pole from the cars in front of us. Now as we come up towards the final 16-17 laps of racing, at this point we have run down the number 28 of Bubba Wallace here as new leader. Alex Bowman in the number 18 has gotten himself back out in front, so Zilish has conceded the lead position to the number 18. We know Bowman probably the strongest one here. Jesse Love's really strong, but Zilish is really strong as well, and Zilish, after losing the lead, it is right on the back of Alex Bowman, so it's not like that 18's running away. Look at this run on lap 41 out of the tunnel turn to the inside of the 28 of Bubba Wallace into turn number 3. Can we clear him? This is crucial. You want to complete the pass? We do. Now into P6. P5 is Gibbs. 4th is Larson, who we are fighting in the regular season championship with. And I didn't really believe there was a regular season championship battle to be had. We had over a 100-point margin a few races ago on Kyle Larson, but he has been race after race ever so slightly eating in to my regular season championship lead, and he has gained more stage points than us all race long, and as of right now is outrunning me by only 1 point. But I mean, if he continues to do this, there's probably enough time for him to actually get to me. So he's actually now past the 54 of Gibbs, so he puts 2 points now in between us. Now as we are at lap 45, we are going to come into the pits a little bit early. We're in the field window. We're going to pit basically 1 lap early, but Connor Zilish is going to pit as well. The 88's in, so we're going to come in for 4 tires, feel, no adjustments, because this is the best the car's been all race long. I think it's showing. We've got a car capable of getting up to the top 5, and we're going to pit for 16.1 seconds. Zilish is going to easily, Zilish actually destroys me on the pit exit, and I have to wonder, did they do 2 tires on the 88, because he's got a huge gap on me, and we were not far behind him when we came to the pit. So he's already out of turn 1. I'm in the middle of turn 1, still coming through, still exit now. I have to wonder what happened, but everybody's completing their pit stops except for Ryan Blaney, as we're going to come alongside Bubba Wallace. It looks like all these guys have been on the same page as us. They did 4 tires with 10 laps to go. Ryan Blaney pits from the lead, so 1 more trip around and we'll let things cycle through here. But interesting to see, as I believe Connor Zilish is out in front. Caution's out, and it's Alex Bowman. Bowman tire down. The best car of the day is out here late, and Ryan Blaney and Corey Heim were both in the pits at the time of the caution. Those were the 2 that stretched it. They can complete their pit stops. They'll be the front row. Blaney leads. Heim second, rebounding from his crash. He's not out of the race, obviously, like I originally might have thought he was. He's still in it. And now it's a Blaney-Heim front row with 7 to go. But what can Connor Zilish do? He needs to be on full attack. He knows Alex Bowman's to the back of this pack. And now Jesse Love as well. What can he do? We know he's just as strong as Connor Zilish here. If I get an opportunity, I want to help my teammate here. Even though he's raced me really hard this season, I still want to help the team overall as we clear Bubba Wallace, as we exit turn number 1. But I mean, first, you know, the foremost of my thought here is, well, can I win this race? And that's what I want to try and do before I help the 88 of Connor Zilish. And right now is lining up behind the 5 of Larson to try and execute a brilliant exit to the tunnel turn alongside the 81. It's not been the restart Love was looking for. Heim drops to 4th. Blaney now 2 is inside as Connor Zilish, as I look to the inside, forcing it 3 wide on Larson, now just 2 wide as Heim backs out of it. No, we're still 3. Heim's still there. He fights back with the momentum. What a move from the 11, who clears both myself and Larson, who drops back in that number 5. Now with 5 laps to go here from Pocono, as we look to the inside of Gibbs. He clears us. We drop down to the 5th position, and Connor Zilish takes over the lead of this race here from Pocono Raceway now as we roll through turn number 1. And now it's a lot of Toyota presence up here again. Toyota 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and now battling for 6th alongside Larson. It's either Cadillacs or Toyotas filling up the top 10 pretty well as we wash up the track. track in turn 3 and split there between the 54 and the 81. We drop to P6 as I'm struggling in these closing moments. Larson gets to my inside. He passes us as we drop to P7. Reddick and Wallace just behind there, as now coming to these final 3 laps of racing one more time around. Connor Zilish will be in a prime position. He's driving away as Gibbs is dropped back to P6 behind Larson, and immediately I pounce to the inside of this number 54 Monster Energy Camry into turn number 3, right to the back of the number 5 HendrickCars.com machine. Can't quite get there as Larson will stay clear as he looks to pounce on the 11 of Heim into turn number 1, and that 5 continues to go forward, but it's all Connor Zilish as he's hoping we stay green until the end of this race here from Pocono Raceway now, because he's got this pretty well wrapped up. I think his biggest threat now is the 5 of Kyle Larson, or the 81 as well of Jesse Love. You can't rule out that number 81. Larson, we know strong. He won stage number 1. He's capable of getting the lead of this race, and he's capable of hanging on to it here as we're to the inside of Heim. That'll put us back into the top 5 if we can clear him into turn number 3. And on top of that, approaching just 2 laps to go here from Pocono, and Zilish is continuing to open the gap. Love now to the back of Ryan Blaney as we hit 2 laps to go. Gibbs side by side with the 11 behind, and we've got a Tricon car of Gio Ruggiero with a tire down. 2 laps to go. Caution flies. NASCAR overtime, and Jesse Love is in position to steal the win from his good friend of Connor Zilish in overtime. What do I do in this situation? What I do know is I'm not quick enough for the 5, the 81, the 88 as well of Zilish, maybe Ryan Blaney, but as we get back underway, the question is how do I go about this with 2 laps to go? And well, we're not even close enough to make a move into turn number 1, but if I can help the 88 here, I'm going to. Here we go. We've got a run actually suddenly right in the tail end of the straightaway into turn 1. We're going to try and force it 3 wide. This was a move I knew wasn't going to work. I was just trying to help my teammate at this point. Now we force it 3 wide on one of the quickest cars here, and now Love's going to go from 3rd down to 5th. Larson's able to stay through into P3, Blaney P2, and it's all Connor Zilish leading down the long pond into the tunnel turn. Now he just wants to see the white flag, and honestly Ryan Blaney being in between him and the 5 is exactly what he needs. And to make things even better, here I come to the inside of the number 5 of Larson into turn number 3. Now Zilish just looking to see the white flag as we roll through 3. Can we clear the 5? No, we cannot. Larson's going to roll back around the outside. We'll pull back up behind that number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet or Cadillac. White flag in the air. Connor Zilish, is he about to get his second win on the season? It's going to take a miracle for anyone to beat him at this point now, as he's not got to worry about the 5, myself, the 81, and of course not the 18 of Alex Bowman. They continue to fight behind as we exit turn 1, and now for me it's all about defending over this 81 and maybe passing Larson to pick up an extra point right here before we get to the checkered flag as we head down the long pond straight for the final time into the tunnel turn. Larson with a wide entrance there, trying to go around the outside of Ryan Blaney. Does not get that bad of an exit. I thought we could pounce on him, but we're at least going to try up the inside into turn 3 for the final time. No one has anything for the Red Bull number 88 Cadillac for Junior Motorsports. Now as Larson's going to get us on the exit, I have nothing for him. Connor Zilish, second win of the season. He's a 3-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series as he crosses the stripe and picks up the win for Junior Motorsports, the 7th win overall for the team as we continue to lead the tally in wins for teams this season. Hocevar ends up P20. Chase Elliott with a rough day, just barely inside the top 30. Christopher Bell, another driver that struggled, as Bowman recovered at least to a top 30 result. He was not out after his tire failure as well. Look at the regular season battle. Larson continues to close in. I mean, he's getting closer. And Zilish, of course, makes some headway as well. But looking at the playoff grid, Ross Chastain is now the first one out, 24 points back. Logano's pretty well got a win, as right now it's Gibbs and Heim, of course, in the final few spots. But it's super tight there between Reddick, Heim, Gibbs, and of course, if Chastain can make up just a few points, it's game on. I mean, even Blaney and Buescher are not very safe either. Next episode is the start of the final 5 races of the regular season, and it kicks off at Gateway. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.